Hey guys.
Hi.
Hi.
Hey there. Hey.
How is everybody today?
Oh, well, I'm doing fantastic.
Me too.
And of course, you're listening to
The Tammy and Wanda Show, brought to you by
Tammy and Wanda.
We do not have sponsors, so if you have a sponsor idea, suggestion,
Not yet.
throw it our way.
Just wait. We're going to start getting desperate and standing outside the corner asking for sponsors.
Brought to you by Canada Dry. We hope. We wish. Someday.
And Dunkin' Donuts Cool Mint Tea.
Ooh, that sounds delicious. We've discussed how we like
it's
our
tasty.
Dunkin' on our podcast.
We're getting on the verge of trying to negotiate with Dunkin' Donut. But anyways,
Today we will discuss the wonderful trend that is The Witcher. The Witcher.
The Witcher. In the first 3 days that the second season dropped, it was at like 158 million views.
Oh my god.
In the first 3 days of streaming.
That's those are numbers that are really hard to hit.
Those are. And especially when it came out, when the first season came out in 2019, of course, everybody was kind of busy and there was whispers of a virus, coronavirus.
The coronavirus.
And with the speaking of the virus, of course, everyone, had to lock down. And that's when I found The Witcher, and that's when pretty much everybody found The Witcher.
Yes, darling.
Then it became like a quarantine sensation. It was
much
up
like
there.
Tiger King.
Yes, it was up there with Tiger King, which was insane. Because, of course, I watched both of them.
Well, you had to watch the follow-up because 2021 is a follow-up to the corona year of 2020. So,
Yes, and I actually did watch that, and that was pretty insane. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of speculations, but that's for a different episode, guys.
Tiger King will happen in the future. Dun, dun, dun.
And, of course, after we're done talking about The Witcher, if we have enough time, the movie sensation on Disney, Encanto.
It has taken my house by storm. When I tell you I am both in love with and sick of the soundtrack,
and
I
listen,
couldn't explain it better.
I can't get away from it on TikTok.
No.
On the TikTok, man.
You like one and the algorithm's like, let me give you every single.
They're just like,
we don't talk about Bruno.
No.
And you just go, oh my god, again? Another Bruno video?
Yeah. It's taking the world by storm, at least for this month.
And you're going to have to let us know what you guys think of both.
Of both series.
The series and the movie.
Because, she just finished it. Tammy just finished it. I finished it when I was in isolation because, of course, we know that I had COVID.
COVID's very real.
COVID is real, guys. It's not a conspiracy.
God, I wish it was. Wouldn't that be more fun?
I really wish it was. There was someone on my Facebook that wrote CP, and it was like cootie protection. Back in the day.
Solid 5th grade logic there.
Like, I really just want to have a circle, dot, now you had a cootie shot.
Yes.
That would just keep all the cooties away, right, guys?
Booster, cootie. They're similar words.
Yeah.
Lots of O's.
Yeah, just a lot of O's and a chant. Like you would say in The Witcher, even though it's something that you can actually chant without thinking that you're saying a different language, like Elven language.
Did you hear that the crazy new fad amongst anti-vaxxers is that they're drinking their own urine?
Oh.
As a way to cleanse their body. Now, guys, that's only something, husband and I talked about this last night, that is only something you can do once, and it's only something you should do if you're on like a deserted island and there's no fresh water.
That just makes me think
filter your pee.
That just makes me think of Waterworld, where I actually did watch that a couple nights ago, and I'm like, is that where we're going? Are we just going to drink our own pee?
Well, but at least in that movie, there's a legitimate
He had a filtration system.
For why that's happening, and
That's
it's filtered, and it's turned into water again, which is kind of how, water
It's supposed
treatment
to.
plants
It's supposed
work.
to do,
So, do you think the Witcher, Geralt of Rivera, would ever have to drink his own pee?
Oh, Geralt? Maybe.
See, I don't.
But I bet he would have some type of potion that would, like automatically filtrate it.
I mean, you would hope. But with him being a Witcher, does he pee that black stuff that they have to drink to, like, become super powerful in fights?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he even pees.
Maybe it absorbs all the liquid. Every time he has a fight, sweats it out like a man.
I don't know. And what's really funny is that after I was done watching the series, I was very curious about how much it's like the book. Because, of course, it's a book series. Which, by the way, guys, the book series came out, like, the book series was, like, in the 90s. Like,
it was a while back, yeah.
The first book that came out in the series was in 1993. So it came out the same time as, like, Nightmare Before Christmas.
Which is crazy, because they really like their creepy stuff.
Yeah.
And it also has a video game, which one of the engineers I work with plays. Yeah. Is trying to get through, and he said it's literally one of the hardest games, and he's starting to think he needs to just give up.
I'm very curious, because I mean I'm a geek, and I like to play Dragon Age on my computer.
I like Elder Scrolls. That's the one I had a lot of fun with.
All right, that one's a good one.
I don't like the ones with too many side quests, because I feel like you get, like, lost on a side quest, and then you never get back to the original story ever again.
Yeah, like, it's so funny. My best friend, I got him into it. I was just like, the new season is coming out of Witcher. I've seen the first season. I found it fucking amazing. You need to watch it too.
Oh, yeah.
And he just goes, okay, because I actually turned him into a GOT fan. He had never seen Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh.
So I already had 3 seasons, and I was like, have you ever seen Game of Thrones? Like, they're bringing it back, and I'm very excited. I want to see the new season. That was like
post the Red Wedding.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was like, yeah, I've never seen it. And I'm like, excuse me.
Excuse me?
Excuse me, baking powder. Yes, you're going to see this. And he became an ultimate GOT fan.
I mean, there's a reason why we get along, all three of us, you know?
Yeah.
And repping for GOT, I'm wearing my House Lannister shirt for those of you that are watching instead of listening. And it's bright yellow, and I was in a mood when I woke up this morning, so I was like, you know what?
Hey, and it was a great mood.
I'm going to channel my inner Cersei and just knock this day out, make it my bitch. And
hell yeah.
I did. It was awesome.
But I started reading the book. I got it after New Year's. I have it on ebooks. And I'm like already almost through it. And it's only been like 2 weeks.
One of those you can't put down that you're just like, I don't want to go to work. I don't want to go to sleep. We just need to finish this damn book.
Yes, like I'm just going to call in sick. That's even fair. Though I've been sick.
Stay home and read.
I'm going to stay home and read. But it's very similar, like a lot of the stuff, because I actually Googled how, like, in what order should I read these? And it's like, start with this one. And I'm like, okay. So
they're not numbered, kind of like Martin's books, where you just have to know.
They're not numbered. They're not numbered. They're just like, because if any of you, spoiler alert, there is well, not too much of a spoiler. I'm not going to say too much on it, but there is a prequel
coming out,
like immediately. And I'm like, holy shit, they really were banking on The Witcher being as good as it was. So apparently they like followed the algorithm of like the first season, because the first season when it came out in 2019 wasn't doing very well. Like, yeah, they were getting their views and stuff. Mm-hmm. But then when the quarantine happened, the OG quarantine, like it like blew up. And everyone's like, I want to watch this more.
I got to tell you, the biggest thing for me from season 1 to season 2, and we're going to try to keep this as spoiler-free as possible for those of you listening. Yes, we're going to try to. But Suri's eyebrows really stressed me out. Yes. And you look online, and like all the boards on The Witcher are all like, what happened to her eyebrows? Why is she not like...
Did you see the meme that they're just like, the Witcher's powers on Ciri, and it's Geralt, like, getting out his brow makeup and putting her brows in.
Well, I know the real reason. For those of you listening I haven't seen that. I would love that one.
Oh, it's great.
If we find any good ones, we're going to post them on the page for you guys to enjoy. I have a few already saved because I knew what you were going to do.
Me too. I have lots.
But they stress you out because she had them dyed blonde, because hers are a lot like mine, for those of you watching, that are darker than most of the hair colors I've sported in recent years. I was very platinum blonde, and now I'm very brunette with some honey blonde, which is great. Since, we talked about hair color at the end, and we've got that spoiler from our live that will be revealed in the next week or so on what Wanda's hair will look like. Hair is a big part of The Witcher.
It is.
She, the actress who plays Ciri, didn't want to keep dyeing her eyebrows blonde because it was causing her some discomfort, which is understandable. You're putting bleach on your face.
Like, when you think about it, when you color your hair with any dye, they're going to color your eyebrows because they want it to match the curtain to the drapes kind of thing,
Natural hair color. Which Tammy is not always a fan, but sometimes it has a time and a place. I like the fun colors. Talk to my beautician. She knows I like the fun colors.
Well, with our live, if you guys watch it on our Facebook, I almost lost words. Yeah, but we did. We chose the color, and next week we will be revealing it on our Facebook Live.
Dun dun dun.
So be surprised, guys.
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm kind of stoked because it's actually a color that I don't know if I can pull off or not.
We haven't told anybody but each other, so this should be really interesting to see your guys' reactions.
Yes, I'm very excited about it.
And what's nice is, in the show, there's actually like a good, breadth of hair colors in The Witcher. So like
there is.
The mages all have different colors, and to me the most striking, hair eye combo is Yennefer with the bright purple.
Oh yeah.
And then the dark black hair, and she's got like the darker Indian skin.
I haven't read anything on Yennefer yet, but in the book that I'm reading, like the first one in the Chronicles, he already knows Yennefer. Mm-hmm. So this is like stuff that is like it's kind of bouncing like it did in the first season. Where when I watched it the first time, I was like, wow, we are bouncing back and forth a lot.
Husband said something similar. He goes, wow, this show jumps around a lot. And I went, what do you mean? Because I've been in the fantasy realm and read and watched so much of it. Yeah. I'm so used to bouncing that I didn't even notice.
And of course, like, I had to kind of explain it to my friend. Like, I was just like, he's like, wait a minute, are we in the past or are we, like, in the present? And I'm just like, well, right now, we're in the past.
This is a flashback. She is already dead. And I'm not saying who, because that would be a spoiler notice.
Yes.
So, you see somebody that has already died on the series, and you're like, hold on, they're dead. Oh, it's a flashback. Because they don't go, flashback, 1972, like on other shows. Yeah. It just jumps there.
It just jumps there. And it's kind of like the book. Like, it doesn't give you any...
So the book's not any more clear than the show is.
Oh, no.
So the tone's pretty similar.
Yeah, the tone's very similar. Even though they're... And, of course, anybody who has, like, read the books before... And I'm kind of glad that I'm reading the book after I saw, like, the first 2 seasons. Mm-hmm. Because I would have been really fucking confused.
See, I didn't do that with Thrones. I read them all first, and then I watched them. And it was like... Hold on.
Like, me and the bestie, like, we both kind of agree. If we would have read the books before we watched the series,
you'd be one of those book snobs that are complaining about how, because I like reading it first, but I hate those people. Because here's the thing: realistically, you can't expect, with the amount of origin content you get in, especially fantasy works like Harry Potter, like Thrones, like The Witcher. You got so much source content that you're like, okay, well, how can you possibly take 600-page books that are in multiples and make those into 6 movies? You can't.
Well, I'm really happy that this first book is only 307 pages.
Oh, you were so lucky.
I know. I'm kind of stoked, but I'm kind of excited about reading the next one. And So I have a meme pulled up right now on my phone. So, like, reading it and the description of The Witcher, Henry Cavill would definitely have been my first choice.
Yeah.
Like,
he fits.
He is sex on wheels, guys.
And he's dirty. They make him more dirty every episode.
Oh, yes.
And then they let him take a bath, and he's like mostly nude, and you're like, this is nice.
Which, I mean, I've got two fun facts. Henry Cavill's muscles were so big that they kept wearing down the leather of his outfit in The Witcher, requiring the costumers to constantly make replacements.
That's insane.
How insane is that?
It's those Superman muscles from
when
he played Superman.
And he didn't get rid of them. But what's really funny is that, I mean, I don't follow him on Instagram, but he's been coming up because of the algorithm.
Oh, yeah.
He is a huge, like, fitness fanatic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is all about, like, having, like, a fit body. And what's really funny, all right, so the next one, guys. This guy, if he was not an actor, he probably would be on my list of, like, to date.
Your top 5 list?
The top 5.
Laminated if you're Ross Geller. Got it.
Yeah,
Got
you know. He built his own PC for gaming. So he's got some smarts, guys. Smarts. Reads comic books and sci-fi fantasy novels.
I love him.
I know. He's already climbing up there.
He's us,
ladies.
But a boy. And
yes.
Sexy.
Prefers staying in, playing video games, than going out partying.
We love him.
Yes.
He's perfect. He's obviously perfect.
Almost missed his Superman audition because he was in the middle of a WoW campaign. And if any of you guys know what WoW is, it is the World of Warcraft.
Oh, me and WoW have met. We're good friends.
He was in the middle of a campaign and almost missed his audition.
That is crazy.
He's Superman.
The best Superman since Chris Reeve?
Yeah. Yeah. Is Geralt of Rivia. Yes. Thank you for breaking the stigma of being a nerd.
And I first met him.
And he's sexy.
You guys on the show The Tudors from
Yes!
Showtime?
Yes! I was talking about that too! I was like, man, imagine he has come so far from being Brandon on The Tudors.
Charles Brandon,
and
the sexiest Duke.
Sean's like, yes. Yeah, that's where we saw him first.
And he was almost as buff as he is now and just as cute.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
And he was, Henry's best friend from childhood, and he was this...
I mean, he was kind of an ass. I really was not...
But a scene stealer.
A scene stealer, indeed.
You were always like, oh, Charles Brandon's in this episode? Okay.
All right.
What's going to happen?
What?
I love it.
Oh.
And then you find out Henry VIII's sister was like, hey, boo, and married him without his consent.
And he was pissed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, pissed.
But can you blame her if the real Charles Brandon looked like him?
I mean, if the real Charles Brandon looked like him, I mean, damn.
Which, speaking of sexy nerds, we can put the guy who wrote and, produced all the music for Encanto into sexy nerd category.
Yes.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, shout out. We love you.
Shout out. Huge Hamilton fan.
The musical abilities of that man. I was actually just watching a TikTok last night where I follow this music teacher that was going through, and he teaches music theory on a collegiate level. And he was explaining the song Surface Pressure from Encanto. How, if you really listen to it, it takes us down to the bottom where it's just Luisa's voice. And then it builds. It's a slow build. And then it builds even more every verse into like the pre-chorus section. And then when you get to the end, when she's flipping the house around with her feet, it's like there's so much pressure and so many things going on in the song that you feel the pressure she's feeling at the end.
Yeah. I watched
amazing.
I watched it this morning, and a lot of things held true. And I mean, of course, everybody at some point in their family life has felt what these kids were going through.
Oh, it's got generational trauma in it.
Yeah.
So Abuela goes through all these terrible things in the very beginning of the story. And she basically takes it out on her children and grandkids.
Which you would think that she would try to make it better.
Right.
But spends all of her time making sure that these people, like these family members, have these powers. They need to be doing this. They need to be doing that.
She micromanages.
If you don't do it right, you have failed the family.
And there's so much guilt and pressure, for lack of a better way to say that, on all of the kids.
I feel like there's a lot of like gaslighting.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of guilt shaming.
She is like, I know there's so many people that out here that have hot takes that she's not the villain. But it's really difficult, even after, with how it ends, after they resolve the big thing that happens, because, no spoilers.
Yeah.
She starts to sing in that last song of the movie, and you're like, shut up. Like, I immediately, my whole body just clenched when she started singing.
Yeah.
Even though they resolved all the issues.
Yeah.
You're like...
Like, that was... Like, the only thing that I wanted to come out in the end was the house. That's it.
You don't get to sing, Abuela. You're evil. And I don't care what you say. I understand that's how, like, we call them boomers in our life. But, like, a lot of times in, like, other cultures, like Spanish culture, you have to respect them even if they're assholes.
Oh, yeah.
And we also saw that in Glee, if you guys are Gleeks, with Santana's grandmother. She didn't like that she was marrying a woman.
Yeah.
So she was real shitty to her, and there was guilt and gaslighting there, too. So I don't know if that's just a Spanish thing.
Well, and look at Mulan. Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
On your cow. All right, so that leads me to my next, I guess, a question that just popped into my brain. So I saw another one where they were talking about where we know certain voice actors from, because the guy who plays Bruno is John Leguizamo. So they were talking about, like, where we know certain actors from. So, and there was this huge argument for Eddie Murphy. Do you know him as Mushu or do you know him as Donkey? It doesn't matter.
Hard. That's hard.
Because for me, it's Donkey, but...
Like, it has, like, it would, like, for both of that, like, I can see, like, a hybrid.
That would be fun, considering he married a dragon in Shrek, so that would be cool.
Like, it's just a hybrid.
Mushu's the son.
Like, a lot of actors, like, I'll see them in, like, live action films. Like, I'll be watching them, and I'm like, how do I know them? Mm-hmm. And then they keep talking, and I'm like, oh my god, I know them from this. That's how I know them.
And people get feisty about where you know people
and I
from.
just got... Sean just watched the 2 in the middle movies of The Matrix.
Oh.
He didn't quite remember the first Matrix, so I was like, dude, we're gonna watch him again. So he watched that one, then he got to see Reloaded, then Resolution. But before he watched those 2, New Year's Eve, he watched Resurrection, the new movie, which I found good. I think they tied up loose ends, which I was highly impressed with. Would I watch it in the franchise? Probably not.
I'm going to make a very astute and disturbing, I guess, confession.
Oh, boy.
I don't understand the Matrix movies. I thought I got it at the end of the first one, and then the second one happened, and I was like, what in the ever-living fuck is this? What is this? And so...
A lot of people have portrayed it as, like, a philosophical question. Are we real or are we not?
Right. Which that's intriguing to me. It's a ghost in a machine or a human?
And of course, we will have an episode on that.
Yeah. It's a great question, but like you go... It is. But how they portray it so confusing to me.
Yeah. Growing up, I was just like, oh my god, we're in the Matrix. And then I was watching it again because I wanted to watch Resurrection.
Yeah.
But I wanted to watch all of them. So, of course, being sick, I watched all of them until I got to, like, Resurrection. Then I watched Resurrection, and I was like, you know what? I'm not in the Matrix anymore. I know I'm not in the Matrix anymore because my life is living shit. What? And this, if it is the Matrix, coronavirus is an actual, like, computer virus trying to take out everybody.
I don't disagree. I think that's probably a good hot take.
So, machines, if you are listening... You need to take care of your viruses and put up a type of firewall.
And please don't kill us.
We are your batteries. But anyways, but watching it and like, of course, the first one came out before Lord of the Rings came out.
Okay.
So I always knew him as Agent Smith, Hugo.
Yeah.
I knew him as Agent Smith. So then when that was done, then Lord of the Rings came out, and of course we all know
and then he's that both of us,
yes, both of us are Lord of the Ring fans.
Oh my gosh, yes.
So when I saw it and I saw him in it, and I was like, Mr. Anderson.
And it messes with you because he's so nice as Elrond that you're like,
yes! I was like, this isn't the same guy. This isn't the same guy.
Tell me, is it true that our beloved Jonathan Groff is Mr. Smith in the newest one?
Yes.
I don't know how that works out. I don't need to know that information.
He's fucking amazing.
But he's scary.
He is scary, but he is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because in one part, I mean, I'm not spoiling anything for you guys.
That's on their IMDb page that he's Agent Smith.
It's a given. It's a given. You have Neo, you have Agent Smith. There's no way that you could not foresee that Agent Smith is not in Resurrection.
They're like yin and yang.
Fight me, Martha.
They both have to exist.
Yes, they have to exist.
For the story to continue.
They're the positive and the negative of each other. They are a battery. Anyways, in the one part, like, when he, like, comes out of, like, his, like, what the Matrix has done to both Neo and Agent Smith, he's like, Mr. Anderson! Like, he just belts. He just belts it out. And I'm just like, are we singing?
Is this King George style from Hamilton? Full circle.
When he's talking to Neo, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, just say it. Just say it. You'll be back.
You'll be back, Mr. Anderson. Would have been hilarious. It would have been great.
Like, I was just waiting for some King George-ness to come in.
Which I'm really stoked. I had a software vendor reach out to me and invite me to an event where I get to talk to Jonathan Groff about his role as Mr. Smith in that last Matrix film.
Oh, fuck yes! So, I want to be there for that.
I'm so excited because we love him. We stan him forever on this show.
I mean, he was great as the villain. It wasn't really typecasting him because he played King George in a musical. But really, in all of the shows that he's done, I mean, Kristoff. He was Kristoff.
Who's a great guy.
Come on, guys.
Like, King Kristoff of Arendelle. I mean, hello.
Yeah, so it's funny. But what's really funny about all these series that we have literally talked about, everybody that has been in these series literally have been slightly typecasted. That's how we know them as. Like, when you're in a series franchise, like, or in a movie franchise that has, like, 10 movies in it, you're gonna be typecasted. So any movie that you go in, or any musical, or, you know, any show, you're just like, oh my God. Well, I know that guy.
That lends into the joke, since we talked about Jonathan Groff, and bringing it back to Encanto, is there's this big joke amongst theater snobs, and of which we are too.
Right.
Theater snobs are joking that Lin-Manuel had a breakdown when they wouldn't let him play Bruno, and they picked John Leguizamo. But you look at John Leguizamo's track record.
They threw him in a closet, guys.
That dude can do anything. If you look back through because he's kind of like Tim Curry. You judge somebody by where they know John Leguizamo from.
Yep.
Tu Wong Fu loved Julie Newmar as Chi-Chi, right? I always get that wrong.
Yeah, Chi-Chi.
And she's the little, you know...
I fucking
Spanish drag queens. Hello.
Like, I love Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything. Like, that was my first real love of drag queens.
See, I gotta be honest, because they're talking about how it's a generational thing where you know I'm from, and I don't think that's necessarily true.
Yeah, no bueno on
because
that.
Because they said elder millennials like us would know him from Romeo and Juliet, which
no.
But Moulin Rouge, first of all, as Toulouse-Lautrec.
Toulouse, hello.
Where he's the lonely clown. You guys, he's a lonely singing clown.
He is a lonely singing clown who is the only guy that was short. He had to be on his knees for the entire production.
Because he's actually not as short as they portrayed him.
He's not as short as they portrayed him.
But let me tell you, to go back to Romeo and Juliet, so I loved that movie, even though I hate with the freaking passion that story. And we'll get into that in a future episode.
Yes,
that's
we
planned.
will do that.
But when you see Tybalt come out so John Leguizamo, and he's at the gas station in the very beginning of that film, and he puts the cigarette out with that steel-toed boot, and they pan up, and then you see like his like little Spanish goatee, and you're like, oh, I don't care what kind of woman you are, that is hot. Every time.
See, I knew him as Tu Wong Fu. Thanks for everything. Chi-Chi.
And you know where your kids will know him from? Sid the Sloth in Ice Age.
Sid the Sloth.
Which you hear a little bit of that in his Bruno portrayal.
Yes.
There's a little bit of this to it, and you're like, oh my God. Oh, I love it.
Knock on wood, knock on wood.
Now, what do you think? Do you think that Bruno was abused by his family?
I think he was the one who... To me, he was the one who spoke the truth. And
yes.
I think that caused him to be the one that everyone gaslighted.
Well, and if you look at We Don't Talk About Bruno, which is, by the way, a bop. Download it on Spotify.
It is.
It's a bop.
It is.
But when you listen to that song, they're like, he told me my fish would die, and the next day, dead. And you go, but
it's a goldfish.
Did the fish look sick? Was it a goldfish? Was it already swimming on its side, and he could just tell it was gonna? Is that really a prophecy, or is that common sense?
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I feel like he would be considered like those people in society that are just like, this is how it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm speaking the truth.
Bruno's me.
Yes. And everyone's just like, we don't like her. We don't like him because he tells us all this stuff. And we are doing just fine without them telling us what really is going on.
And I think that's half the reason I hated Abuela so much is like, you can see in each generation, there's the perfect child that she dotes on all the time. Mm-hmm. The one that she puts too much pressure on. So in the siblings, the triplets, Peppa's the one she's always harping on to do something different or like be better. Peppa, the clouds. Oh, I know.
Clear skies, clear skies.
Clear skies,
clear skies. Clear skies.
You look at how wonderful her husband Felix is in that movie.
Oh, I know.
He's almost like protecting her from Abuela in certain points, and you can kind of feel that. And Julieta is the perfect child, just like Isabella is the perfect child of the cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go, and there's always a scapegoat for her in every generation that she like puts all the pressure and the blame and the shit on. And it was Bruno with the triplets, and it's Mirabel who's the main protagonist. You see how badly she treats her granddaughter when her other ones are perfect and they're wonderful and their gifts are being used by the town. And you're like, Mirabel doesn't get one. And she's like, she just treats her like street trash the rest of the film.
Yeah.
Until the very end, she finally redeems herself,
and she's like, oh shit, you're right.
I still think that was too convenient.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
But Mirabel's bop with her perfect sister Isabel is another one you need to download if you don't already have it. Bring it in.
Yeah.
Bring it in. It's very salsa-y if you like,
It is.
Like kind of boppy kind of music. And I think that's what Lin-Manuel does well, is he brings in different, not really like tones or anything, but like different styles. He can do anything.
Have you heard all the mashups of Hamilton?
Yes,
and
they're
Encanto?
awesome.
And I'm just like, yeah, it's very similar.
They fit like perfectly together. And you can even see somebody suggested that the moment with Hamilton and Angelica Schuyler and when they're like, they first meet and they kind of go around them and they're like real close, really mirrors Dolores and the main hunky guy that she likes the whole movie. And they finally get to talk and they do that whole round them while they're real close and they're like, oh my God, it's Hamilton and Angelica all over again.
Yep. Oh yeah.
So The Witcher, I do have a question. Bringing it all the way back to the beginning of the episode. Do we think that, because it's a weird relationship for me, Geralt and Ciri. Like, is it father-daughter? Because I think that's what it is.
So
because she's a child surprise,
here's what is going to bake your guys' noodles. Okay, in the book, during the whole trying to get Ciri's mom like betrothed to somebody, in the book, Mousesack brings up to everybody at court the only reason why Geralt knows about the law of surprise and the child surprise is because his father made the same agreement. Geralt is a child of surprise.
Shut up.
He is a Destiny child. All right? He is Beyonce.
You just literally watched my brain explode, those of you watching on YouTube. It just went...
He is a Destiny child. He is a child of Destiny, which made him... A reason why he became a Witcher
is because he got taken by the older Witcher guy.
Yeah.
Whose name is eluding me. Yeah. Who's amazing, by the way.
Amazing.
I love his character.
Very sick. So with him, because the way... I wish it was better explained in the movie. Or in the show.
Yeah.
In the book, the way that they described it, and it has to be a father bloodline. Mm-hmm. Like, it has to be the father.
Right.
Because what happened was with Ciri's mom, her father almost died, and of course Urchin did explain that right. He saved the king, and the king threw an oath and was like, I will give you something that I have not seen before. Hence, he did not see his daughter. When he came home, she was giving birth. So she became the child of surprise. So she became the Destiny. So Urchin waited 15 years, kinda. He stayed in the shadows.
He was like, watching.
Hey girl, I see my child surprise growing up over there.
Boy, was she pretty then too.
Yes. But so when he was just like, well, I will honor the same oath. But it was already a given because Urchin already said, I owe you my life. Mm-hmm. So he already threw in the Destiny because Geralt is already a child of Destiny. So he was already bound to this child.
That is the one moment in the whole show that really pissed me off. The grandmother of Ciri, I just want to slap the ever-loving shit out of her in that whole scene. She's like, Destiny doesn't exist. Obviously it does, bitch. I get real feisty when I feel like there's somebody being rude to children or people that deserve more respect. And she just I'm a queen. Listen to me.
No one has respect for the Witcher because of course they're mutants. They're monsters who chase after monsters.
Fluid. Yeah. I don't know what that's called either. I'm such a bad Witcher fan. I don't know what anything's called. I don't know anybody's names.
I was mind blown by that.
Yeah.
That he was a child of Destiny. That's why he is such a huge, a Witcher. Everybody goes to Geralt as a Witcher because he has so much knowledge and, but...
He's the Witcher. Not a Witcher.
Yeah, he is the Witcher. That Virsik was like, this is my child of Destiny. He is going to do great things.
And you know what shocked me about the Witcher? They get to the Witcher den, so you get to see the other Witchers and how they were brought up. Mm-hmm. How many little boys had to be killed to find the perfect blend? And you see, they do a pan out of all the dead little boys that they try to put that black stuff in to see if they would be a Witcher. As a parent, you're like, ooh, I hate it.
Guys, it has to take elder blood. And someone's
got to be tested on, and somebody on the show's got to have elder blood.
On the show.
We won't tell you who, but you'll find out if you watch it.
But when I read that, I was like, oh my God, this makes so much more sense.
And I think it's the only thing that could have explained why he's such a ferocious protector of Ciri right away.
Yes.
He immediately goes into dad mode.
Because he is still a child of Destiny. He is Destiny. He is carrying on Destiny. And now he has this child. And I'm just like, oh, look at this. This is like a father-daughter kind of thing.
It's cute. It's real cute. The other thing that really kind of... It didn't hit me until the second season. And you guys that watch it will understand what I mean. You see Jaskier... And I'm murdering names. I know I'm murdering them, and it's fine.
Okay, guys, here's a little tidbit. In the book, he is called Dandelion. And what I found out is that Yersic is actually a Holland name for dandelion.
That's so funny. I love it.
So they wanted to stay true to the book. I'm just like, it would just been really funny if they just called the bard Dandelion.
Yeah, that would have been funnier. But he's also, like, he's really irritating in season 1. And you're like, who the fuck is this guy that's singing all the time? And you are Geralt in that scenario. You're like, shut the fuck up and go away. And
I did like when he found that gin and he's just like, if we don't get this taken care of, he's gonna lose his ability to sing.
That was pretty good. I laughed real hard at that part. But
it was great.
The second season, so he's not only funny, but he runs into Yennefer before either of them see Geralt again after the events of season 1, and they hug. And even though he's like, "You're a fucking bitch," like he hugs her because he's like, "A friend."
Yeah, literally, I loved it. He was like, "The last time I saw you, you were in bed with me naked, and you were trying to kill me."
It's so good to see you. Oh my god. And I will say, for those of you that play the game that have never read the books, may or may not have seen the show, there are some times where you can really tell that it was also a video game.
Yeah.
Where there's certain kill shots. Like there was one, he jumps off a cliff.
Yes.
And he does the knife down the back, and then he turns around and just lops the thing's head off. And I'm like, that's a video game move.
That was
rad.
Yeah, but it's funny when I was watching with Sean, we're just like, oh, side quest. Oh, side quest.
Because you can tell.
You can just tell that it's a side quest.
The other thing is, do you have a favorite mage? Because there are so many, and they all have their different motivations. I have 2. And I have one I know I don't like. And
That's tough. And what I found amazing about the way that they did the mages in this series is that they went with a form of chaos. Mm-hmm. So it's almost like
it's chaos magic.
You or I could be mages. Mm-hmm. Like it was just amazing. And I called it the Hogwarts extreme. Like this is where all the rejects of Hogwarts went.
The Sorting Hat went, well, you have power, but we don't want you at Hogwarts.
I really liked the first season. I couldn't really stand her, but I understood why she did it. The professor.
Yes. She grows on you.
Her name totally is.
Oh, she's the lead witch that teaches all the baby witches or mages in this case, and
I love how hard she was, but like you knew that she cared about every single one of them in their own way.
And I don't think you see that in most of the first season until that very last episode with that
when
big
she's
fight.
Just like,
and she can't
release
find
your
somebody,
chaos, Yennefer.
And she's like. She can't find her after she tells her to do that. And she's like freaking out like a mom would freak out if you lose your child in public. And you go, oh my God, she loves them.
Yeah, she's one of them.
She's not Umbridge. She seems like it at first, but she is never Dolores Umbridge. She's more like a Snape where you go, she's kind of an asshole, but like she does kind of care a little bit.
Like she just took 50 points from Yennefer.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
For sure.
But then in the end, it's just like, I really do care about you. That's why I was so hard on you.
Yeah, and you go,
Aww.
I like the one with the red hair.
Tessa.
I think it's Tissa.
I think so.
Now
I got to get out
She goes through like this
Wikipedia.
terrible experience in that war at the end of season 1.
Oh, I felt so bad for her.
And she's basically been burned, so she's scarred. And so she wears like high-collared things, but she's one of Geralt's many conquests. He basically sleeps with any woman that walks. If you watch the show, you're not shocked that he's, there's another girl, there she is.
But it's insane because it's not like that in the book. Like, he is very educated. Like, he's well educated. And I really wish they would have portrayed that in the show a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to start doing that a little bit more.
Well, Henry's a big fan, as we already discussed. He's a nerd.
Yes.
This is also one of his favorite games to play on his PC.
The girl that plays Circe in the show, she had so much fun working with him. Like, any question about The Witcher, he had knowledge of.
I think he's almost more knowledgeable than the directors and the people that are writing.
Agreed.
And I think they ask him questions when they're writing episodes, which we're not going to get into Game of Thrones season 8, but I feel like somebody knowing the source material that well, like, Martin, helping.
I said Siri.
Assisted that progression in season 8, and they should have mid that 10 seasons because it was
I just feel
too much too soon.
Oh no, it's that dandelion. Yesiker is the Polish name for dandelion,
right?
So it's Polish. Mages.
To me, it's Tissa, Yennefer, and the professor, and her name is a T name too, but it's like Tilla something or other. I cannot stand the guy that was in love with Yennefer when she was still a hunchback. That's like the historian, and I'm always like, I want to stab you right in the fucking eyeball.
I know when when they saw one another, and he's just like, I was really hoping that Yenna would be here, and he goes, Yin.
Because he knows her better, even though he's known her for a shorter time. Geralt does, and he's like, no, that's not what her name is. That's not her name.
Well, it's just it's insane, and of course, she's believing that this is just on, just her, like a spell from a genie, that this is happening. But really, I think on the mage side, she too is a child of destiny.
Well, because of the way she was collected. And you guys will see that if you watch it.
Yes.
Or she gets sold by her stepfather, I believe.
Yeah, her stepfather. So, in return, I'd like to know, because Yennefer is a quarter elf. Because her dad was half elf, so she's a quarter elf.
And we won't spoil who else is an elf. But do you ever get the feeling that Yen and Geralt are like mom and dad, and Ciri's like the child,
and that's
towards the end?
And that is how they portrayed it. Like, they portray it in the video game.
So it's like mom.
It's very like
the mage, and dad, the witcher, and And Ciri's power we can't figure out yet. We don't know if she's a mage. We don't know what her deal is quite yet.
I don't know, but I know that she has a lot of build-up chaos.
Every time she screams, like, was it the beginning of season 2 when she screams to get away from that guy?
The beginning of the first season where she killed the monolith.
Because she just screams really loud, and it creates destruction from her chaos
magic. I really enjoy Mousak. Mousak is a good druid. I like him as a druid.
We also both really like, and I'm going to call them dwarves because I thought that was a better word than what I used, but these little dwarf guys that help Geralt in certain things are so funny.
They're hilarious.
And he tolerates them, and you could just tell they get on his nerves like the bard does, and you go, oh my god, they're comedic relief, and they're great, and I love them.
Like, inner Geralt is like, thank God I have people to talk to.
He's a mushy teddy bear in the inside, but you gotta dig deep to get there.
But he's just like, why do you guys have to talk to me so much?
See, I think that's me, too. I think I really resonated with him or he resonated with me as a character, because I was like, oh my god, I'm also grouchy most of the time, but have a soft, gooey core if I love you.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I roll.
But Triss is a good one. Triss.
See,
that's who it is. Triss.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had to go through it all.
Dude, I knew I would. I knew when we prepped for this, I was like, I'm gonna mess up every name I say. Everything's gonna be mispronounced. But
listen, all these goddamn names are very confusing.
They're all hard to say. Like
Yennefer of Vengerberg. So you have to do it with a British accent.
It doesn't make sense otherwise.
Yeah, I can't do it in my regular accent.
And I gotta tell you, I have a degree in English, which is a Germanic language, and I'm mostly German, of German descent or what have you. And you would think I would have the tongue available to say Yennefer of Vengerberg better in my English, but I can't. You just, it's so hard to pronounce, but it's such a good show. Highly recommend. 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10.
I definitely recommend it. Hardcore.
And Encanto, same.
Yes.
If you don't have kids, it's more of like an 8 out of 10, but there's a lot of bops in there. If you have kids, it will be on repeat. I think Graydon has watched it.
He's watched it a good
12, 13 times.
Yeah.
In the last 2 weeks. I've seen it once all the way through, and I've seen pieces of it because he loves watching it in his room to go to bed at night. So that's his deal. But we jam in the car when we go places to that soundtrack. So It's a solid 10 for me. I did not care for Coco, and I didn't care for Soul. And I haven't seen, and everybody goes, "Oh my God, Soul. Really?" I
haven't watched Soul. I mean, I'm...
What's the other one that says, "No, Silencio Bruno"? What movie is that?
Bruno.
Is that what
it's called? Luca. It's called Luca.
That one I have not seen, so I can't give judgment.
I'm pretty sure it's Bruno. No, it's Luca. Sorry.
We don't talk about Luca. But we're, we love everything on this show, so there's like not a whole lot that I'll tell you not to watch. But
I'm sure they just announced not too long ago that they are going to start filming season 3 of The Witcher,
which should be a 10-episode season, not this shitty 8-episode we got for season 2
and 1.
Yeah,
I mean, kudos to them for putting a lot, but there's so much more they have to build on now.
We're gonna have to rewatch this for me to get all the details. It's one of those shows where you watch it and you get something new every time.
But we will definitely come back to it and reanalyze it.
Yeah. The other good thing is they promised 7 seasons. Netflix
7 seasons.
So 7 seasons of The Witcher, and then at least
Henry
one.
Cavill has agreed to do all 7 seasons.
And how many seasons of the prequel are we going to get? We know at least one.
I know.
We know at least one.
Which it should be out in July of this year?
I think so.
I think.
It's soon.
If I can remember correctly.
July is not soon. Because that's when Tammy's birthday is, but it feels soon. But my other challenge to you, our dear listeners, is if you watch Encanto with grandkids, kids, whatever you've got around, nieces, nephews, whatever, look out. It's almost like Finding Bruno. He's in almost every scene. He's like a Where's Waldo in that movie. Where is he? He's in all the movie posters, but you have to really look to find him.
Yes.
So he's like a puzzle, an enigma, if you will. And he, I think, was my favorite character in that film. Because he's like... I don't know how to explain it. You already said he's like the guy that knows everything. And he's right about everything. Mm-hmm. But he's also so funny because he has to be by himself for so long. And you guys will see why.
Listen, he acts like all of us during quarantine.
That's very much a quarantine character. You go a little crazy. Really? You start talking to the rats in the walls, and you start having a telenovela that only Dolores can hear.
Yep.
Which, shout out to one of our favorite TikTok creators, Nikki, and I'm gonna screw up her last name, but I can post her TikTok link for you guys. Mm-hmm. She's been doing skits based on Encanto for like a week and a half, and they're all of Dolores at like a family meal, and Abuela asking her a question, and her not hearing it because she's listening to the Rats telenovela. I am not their twin sister. I am the evil triplet that killed her. And you see her react, because she's got super hearing, for those that haven't seen it, so she can hear things nobody else can, and she's so distracted by the shows Bruno and his rats are putting on that she can't function.
Yeah, she just can't function at all.
So
I was trying to find when the origin comes out,
and I was gonna mention,
I couldn't find it.
There's like this big outbreak of little girls that see themselves in Louisa, who's the strong buff one. Yeah. And I find that to be beautiful, because it's like we didn't have a Louisa in our generation to look up to. We
were the Louisas.
Because we had like pretty Disney princesses, but we got the first I guess more not feminist, but we'll say that for sake of argument. So we had our first powerful princess in Belle. Like, she was the most progressive one we had.
I mean, she was beautiful, but she was also book smart.
She was smart, and she didn't take the beast shit.
Yeah.
She was like, it wouldn't hurt as much if you wouldn't move. So, like, I think that's why so many people our age love Belle. If you notice, it's kind of a generation thing. Those of us
really is
that were young during that movie release were like, oh my God, I'm her. And I think that's what's happening with Louisa.
To realize that Beauty and the Beast came out in like
94.
Yeah.
It was. Well, I'm pretty sure 94. I could be wrong by a few years, but.
Or 91.
Well, because 89, I think, was Little Mermaid.
Yes.
And then the next one was Oh my God, Beauty and the Beast, and then Aladdin.
Aladdin was right after that, because I remember it was a preview on Beauty and the Beast VHS.
I watched all of those VHSs. I wore them out.
Listen, those were my movie previews right there. And I know most of those previews, every time that I see a movie, I'm like, that was part of the preview. That was a part of the preview.
We want to see, for you guys, if you know of a video or you've made one yourself that's an Encanto or a Witcher video, TikTok, Instagram Reels, whatever, we want to see it. Post it on our page.
For sure.
Like, I cannot wait to see, and then we're going to try to do some fun stuff for you guys in the next couple weeks to get more.
Like the ones that they do, they're just like, which sibling would I be? Like, when they're singing Luisa's song, they're like, which one am I? I'm like, I can't tell. It might be because I'm too old, but I'm like, I don't know.
And can I tell you the one thing that Disney did right with Encanto, other than booking Lin-Manuel, was there were some strong father presences in this movie.
That was nice to see.
Felix and I'm going to mess his name up, but Maribel's dad, who's played by Fez from that 70s show, Wilder Valderrama, which really stresses me out for lots of weird reasons. But
there were a lot of bees.
But he's like, you don't talk to my daughter that way, to Abuela. And you're like, whoa. Strong, supportive parents. Good job, Disney.
Yeah.
That was good to see.
So, I mean, how many Disney movies have all of us seen where the father was absent? And
then the mother dies, like fucking Bambi. She dies in the first, 30 seconds of the film, and you're like, okay, so he's an orphan.
Listen, I only watched that movie once. And I have never gone back to it.
Me was a handful, but never again.
It was so funny because, my mom's like, oh, let's watch this movie that we got. She puts it into the VCR, and we're watching it, and then she dies, and we're like, I look over at my mom, she's like, nope, we're turning this off. We're never going to watch this again.
There's two others I won't watch. Old Yeller.
Fox and the Hound.
Almost. I'm almost there with that one.
I can't.
And then Dumbo. Which I've never liked because it seems scary and creepy the whole time.
Dumbo.
And his mom gets taken away and you're like, I can't. This is not a kid's film.
Listen,
it's not.
That is one of my favorite films. That was actually the very first film that made me realize how much I love elephants.
Oh, they're great animals, but that movie is messed up.
It did make me very sad when they took Jumbo away and put her in jail for no reason at all. I'm a kid, and I'm like, listen, she's trying to protect her baby. Those assholes.
It's up there.
Over there were the ones who were fucking around with her baby. No one messes with Jumbo.
And she won, and now she's going to jail.
I know, but then at the end, they're together again.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to say goodnight to you guys, but before we do that, please share with us memes, videos, anything from any of the stuff we talked about tonight. We would love to see them. We will try to send some to you.
And next week, come onto our Facebook Live, and we will see what color.
What color will Wanda be?
What color is the hair going to be next week?
We could also do a vote for what Tammy's hair should look like, because there's a booked appointment for the...
Woo! That's our next
2 weeks. So you guys can vote on what you think I should have.
We should just get matching.
I've had that color we picked for you before, so whatever.
So we can start singing "Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty."
Pretty sure I've had every color on the list. So
same.
Haha! No spoilers for you.
Except for that one. This one's gonna be a new one.
Unless you're Ashley, you don't know what I mean. So haha.
So it's gonna be interesting. So thanks for sticking around for our extra long.
We love The Witcher. We had to give it its due.
We did.
And Encanto.
Yes.
Mwah. Chef's kiss on both.
Chef's kiss.
So we will see you guys next week. Hello.
Bye. Bye.